Hey everybody, you're watching the AFTERBUZZ TV After Show for Coupled, Season 1, Episode 3, called Chemical Attraction. Is there trouble in paradise already? You're going to find out tonight. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Such a fitting intro for this episode.
Yes. Love me some Taylor.
Of drama.
Love me some Taylor. If she was on Coupled, I would go on Coupled.
Oh, of course. You're not the only one. I'm sure of
I'm
that.
sure I would not be the only one walking right for Taylor Swift.
There'd be competition everywhere.
Oh, man.
Of course, tonight we are talking about the third episode of the dating series Coupled. I'm your host, Samantha Benitz. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Samantha_Benitz. And of course, I'm joined by Michael Clouse, who's back in studio.
What up, everyone? You can follow me on Instagram at TheOnlyMC, on Twitter at Michael Clouse TV. Snapchat's on there. And also tonight, we have a laptop.
Woohoo!
We're
It's
not
going
branding.
down for
It might
real
be a Mac. It might not
tonight.
be. So we can chat live if you're watching this. Hit us up. Also do it on Twitter. So reach out. We'd love to have interaction.
Of course, and we've got our new addition, Courtney Henderson, here tonight with us.
Thank you. It is so good to finally be able to join you guys in studio and not talk to myself about my thoughts on this show, because I've had lots of thoughts, so far. So you can find me on Instagram or on Twitter at Cohen, Couhen.
Well, we're glad to have you. So
Absolutely.
you guys, let's hear really quickly, what did you guys think about the third episode?
Chemical attraction or chemical reaction. There
Yeah.
was
What about
definitely some butting
heads
heads.
hitting? Yeah.
And some new developments, which is good
Yes.
because I think in watching the first two episodes, it felt like it was moving along pretty slowly.
Right.
And we were hoping for something
Yeah.
new. It was just like one guy every week. Okay, another guy. Tonight, we obviously saw something different. We obviously know what happens when a couple splits up.
Right.
We see a big tease for next week where it's not just one guy at a time.
Now we're
Very
talking my
interesting.
language.
Yeah,
Now
lots
we're
of
getting into a
momentum.
lot
Yes.
more stuff, and it's good. We're craving more and more and more.
Absolutely. So before we go in any further, let's do a quick recap of episodes 1 and 2 for any viewers that missed it so far.
Yes. Okay. Well, in episodes 1 and 2, Alex chooses Lindsay over Brittany, and then Amari chooses Dominique. But their personalities kind of seem like they might already be clashing. He texts Alicia questioning whether or not he should have picked Dominique or maybe if he should have chosen her. BT, of course, arrives on the boat, and Alex instantly feels the connection. He can't decide between Kristen and Ashley, and Alex actually has some tension with Kristen because they were friends, and she gets the silent treatment from Kristen once she is picked to go to the, I guess that's not the couple's villa. It's the limbo
bungalows
house.
are the other.
Yeah.
the single bungalows.
Yes. So meanwhile, of course, the date heats up, and Kristen appeals to his younger, playful side, and Ashley appeals to his older, more mature side. And tonight we found out who he chose.
He chooses the
Yes.
only. You were right.
I kind of knew
I
it.
did not see it coming.
I mean, that's why he's here. He wants to find love. So if you
That's
want to
true.
find a hookup or something kind of fun, like
true.
it's not that she's only that, but it kind of seems like that's what appeals to him from her.
Exactly.
So,
And, he says that, where is this? But he talked about that he really appreciated her morals and her
Right.
values. And I think you're right in that at this point, he's here for a reason, and he's here
Yeah.
to find love in something more serious.
absolutely. And I like their connection. The more I saw them together this episode, I was thinking he made a good decision. They were sitting in the villa just, cuddling and, sitting next to each other, even by the other couples who are more comfortable with each other, aside from Dominique and Amari.
I wonder if there's pressure
Yeah.
for the new couples coming in.
I was
Obviously,
thinking that.
Yeah, I mean, you have Lindsay and Alex who have been there for quite a while, and so they have more chemistry.
So I'm curious because the show is such a new structure and we haven't seen it, and they're not really giving us all the information in advance. Like tonight we
Right.
found out what happens when a couple breaks up. I am having the hardest time really grasping the time lapse. How long
Yeah.
have Lindsay?
So-
how long have they really been in the
Well,
house?
the whole
is
show-
it a month now?
Alicia said last week that the whole show was 5 weeks
Right.
filmed.
So
Filmed in 5
so
weeks.
they're moving
So it's
along
about a
pretty
day.
quickly.
It's a day.
So we say they've been in the house for a long time, but there's 4 other couples, so it's it hasn't even been 7 days yet.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like tonight they're talking about, oh, well, they're like in the honeymoon phase and like they're the happy couple and they're like the old
Couple that hates each other.
Yeah.
That was kind of a funny comment. But I agree. I think that they don't have a lot of time to waste. And so they're there just trying to feel this connection and spark and doing whatever it takes. And they also mentioned last week that it's hard not to fall in love on this island where everything is so beautiful. You're going on these romantic excursions and living the high life away from your work and responsibilities. You know, it's easy to see why they could connect. But then again, you can see different personalities amount to different experiences as well.
Well, and they haven't all really talked about it yet. Maybe they won't, but I've never lived with somebody that I've dated.
Right.
So I've never lived with a boy, period, other than my brothers. So that's something like Dom had said she had never lived with somebody, and I think Amari maybe hadn't either. And I don't know about the others because they don't talk about it, but that's as
An
romantic and
right?
amazing as like the setting and environment is. It looks like they're all sharing rooms except BT and Ashley. He was like, you can have our room.
Well done to him, by the way.
And
very gentlemanly.
Very gentlemanlike. And it wasn't even an option. I mean, he was like, you know what? No, this is your room.
Yeah.
I'll go find somewhere else.
I was so impressed when he said that. I'm like, no pressure, not going to make her feel weird, not going to make her have to repeat herself. It means he's listening and he cares about her feelings. So I definitely think he impressed her a lot there.
But it goes along. Obviously, they want drama in this show. So having them forced, living together right away, a day or two after they've met, obviously you're going to have that kind of drama, and that's obviously the drama that we saw tonight with Amari and Dom, and you can only imagine what that living situation was like for a couple days. Yikes.
When BT went to go find another room, my first thought, aside from being like, oh, that's so respectful and nice, he is listening, was, okay, so what happens when the house fills up and they're not ready to live together? Is he sleeping on the couch? Because I imagine one of the rooms he's staying in right now
is open. It's vacant for the meantime.
Did you
Because
see the
there's
size of
other
that
couples.
house? I guarantee you there are at least 15 bedrooms in that house.
Yeah, or
so?
they can have one on the couch, or they might have bumpy
But
you can
you know
pull
what I mean?
out.
At some point,
there's going to be an issue,
fill up,
right?
and it's like, unless he's gonna let another couple come stay with him in there.
Well, hey, now there's an open room with Dom and Amari. So,
That's right.
Yes,
Better
that's
call
true.
dibs while the getting's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was cute. I mean, BT said he liked Ashley's values and her faith, and that those were both attractive qualities. And she responded saying that she was looking for a strong man and that he was one hunk of a man. So,
And I totally
Yeah.
agree. And I loved that none of the girls seemed disinterested when he pointed out his leg.
Oh, I loved that
And,
too.
He brought it
should
up,
be respected.
kind of like her with the virgin thing. It came up, it was handled, I thought, very well.
There's no judgment. It's,
And it's like no one's dwelling on it. Everybody's just like, okay, we had that conversation. The communication is open. Done. Moving on. Let's get to know each other. Let's see if there's really a connection, which I love.
Absolutely.
and there's such good. I mean, obviously, I think the whole focus of this episode is connection, and so you see the connection great between three couples. Not so
much.
great between the one, and that really is an underlying theme in this whole episode.
Yeah.
With Amari and Dom, and then even Amari texting Alicia, and I don't know what is a thought for you guys of
I wrote
Amari and
down-
Dom and how he handled that situation and just the whole thought process.
I wrote down that Courtney was Dom. Like I'm watching her and I'm cringing because for the first time I feel like I really understood what I was doing and what I was
From
like
an outside
yes.
view, right? Okay.
And it's like you're no fun. You're not letting any opportunity for anything good to happen to you because
Are you Team Amari or Team
Dom?
Dom?
I mean, honestly, I really like her, but I don't think in this situation, I don't think she actually was open. I don't think she actually tried the way that she thinks she did. And I say that because, I was her, and I was like, no, I gave it my all. I'm the only one that put into this. I'm the only one.
Right.
And I'm watching, and I'm like, girl, you wouldn't even raise your glass. You wouldn't even
For a
acknowledge
cheers,
it.
yeah.
You set yourself up to be disappointed every single expectation along the way. You set yourself up to be unhappy, and when she's ready to be open,
Right.
then I think Amari could have been a great fit. And I think those types of people, like the really jokester kind of lighthearted, can kind of open up because like that's how I am
he's
now.
an extrovert and she's an introvert,
and
which they mentioned.
he's not trying to force it. I think she kept on saying like, oh, you're not making an effort, you're not making an effort. Well, you don't want to force something. You just want to be yourself and see if there's a connection.
That's what I mean.
Happens.
Yeah.
Right.
She had in her mind,
she had her walls up.
Day 1, we're going to go and it's going to be like this. And by day 2, we're going to get this far. And by day 3, we're going to, you know, and it's like she probably had like checkpoints in the relationship where it's like, okay, it's day 3 and we haven't had one romantic evening full of bliss yet. So trouble in paradise. And it's like, wait a second, like you just kind of have to go with the flow. Like you just met.
Yeah, and absolutely. Like, you should be having a natural flow of conversation, and they just didn't. Nothing he said was funny to her. And he even mentioned that, you know, my jokes are funny to everybody else, so what's wrong with you? But I get what he was saying, but to her defense, I think she just was not feeling it after the initial attraction. And then it's like when you have that disconnect and you kind of know it's not going to go anywhere, then the switch can sometimes turn off.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
I mean, I get that too. And, and I feel like when it comes to him, there are, like, she's right. Like, there's definitely things he could have done because when she was like, I want a connection, he could have been like, okay, like, let's go do something, just the two of us.
He should have done, like, a candlelight dinner and asked her questions about herself. Like, he didn't learn anything about her.
So are you team Dom?
I will say I'm team both of them. I think he needs somebody with more humor, and I think she needs somebody who's willing to open her up because she has her walls built, which that's normal. If you have trust issues or you're a strong, independent woman, you haven't met that guy yet, then you're thinking, you know, either it's something to do with them or me. So to her defense, I think she wants to find that guy, but she needs to find someone that's more her pace, and so does he. He needs somebody more free-spirited, who's got a sense of humor, and that just wasn't the thing. But the funny issue we noticed tonight was the guys get sent home if the love connection doesn't work out with the girl that they chose.
I will say, so I asked the question on our live chat of, are you team Amari or team Dom? So far we got 2 responses. We got Atomic1107 says, Dom just seems like a stick in the mud. And so I would imagine, I'm thinking Atomic is a guy.
Right.
And then we have photos by Katie D. Katie says hashtag Team Amari. So we got both for Team Amari.
Wow. I can see why it looks that way, especially on camera, because she just didn't do the cheers. She wasn't laughing at anything. And he was really trying to like, ha ha, and she's not having it.
And that's why, like, I cringe because I've been there. Like, I know how, like, and I mean, I was such a brat, and I feel like she doesn't even realize it because you don't think you are. You think I deserve a man who's going to walk on water and figure out a way to make me happy and read my mind, and it's like you can't tell him to try. It's like, because to him telling jokes and trying to lighten the mood and trying to cheers and have fun, that is him trying. But that's maybe you go to the love languages, like that's not her love language, and so to her she's like, he's just a jerk and he doesn't get it and he doesn't care, when in reality he's not meeting her expectation and she's not communicating what that expectation is, so he has no way of reading her mind and in any way like meeting her expectation and like finding a common ground. And until she finds somebody she's willing to kind of have that communication with, or she recognizes that in herself, she's setting herself up to be disappointed. I don't think it matters how compatible she is or isn't. She's not going to let herself be happy. You know, I mean, and I say that because like I was that girl, and I mean, fingers crossed, because I'm still single, I'm not still that girl.
No, and it's good to be observant of oneself and able to kind of see what is good and what is bad. And necessarily, things don't even have to be bad. They just have to vibe with people, other people's crazy or good or bad tendencies. Like,
they're both probably good people, you know, just not good people together.
Exactly. I mean, and in that sense, like, I'm definitely team Dom. Like, I completely agree with her. She deserves to find somebody that wants to make an effort, that is compatible with her, that recognizes, like, the stand-up woman that she is. Like, she shouldn't settle. You know, so, like, in that sense, I'm like, good for you for, like, saying, okay, I'm out.
Yeah,
you know,
and
like,
she texts Terrence, and like that was interesting too that Alicia wrote Dom and let her know what was going on behind the scenes.
Is that a girl code? Girl code? Do you do that?
Yes,
100%.
I think especially beginning a relationship, because you don't really have your allegiance or trust built with this new guy.
In that situation, I say absolutely.
Do you have your allegiance with the girl though? You've known her for like 5 days.
It's just like girl code for starters. Like I would say.
I don't know. I'm not hating or dissing.
Nah. And how do you guys feel about that at home?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
an interesting choice, honestly. I think it's kind of each his own.
And I will say this is that I have more respect for Alicia because when Amari first texted her first reply was, "How are things with you and Dom?"
Oh, she did it so classily.
Yes, so much class. And I messaged her. I told her that.
Yeah.
And that it's so much class to be able to not be selfish and not
Just say meet you in the villa later.
Yeah.
Especially when I was really surprised by her. This is kind of going back to last week. The pettiness that what there was like when the three of them ate dinner together.
Right.
You know, I was really surprised like how they played so mean girl with each other at the dinner. So to see that other side of her where it's like at the end of the day, she's full of class and she's not about to step on toes and get in the... Because, like, why would she want a guy like that?
Right. They're all there looking for love.
And I think, obviously, we know how good of friends they are now that they went to that Beyonce concert together. So,
Queen Bey.
I mean, Which,
best friends.
we mentioned is total, they must all be Team Bay because we saw another photo on Instagram where it was Michelle and Brittany, who are both from New York, went to...
Beyonce
or not
concert.
Brittany, or not Michelle. It was Brittany and Alex from Louisville, Brittany from New York, and they went to Chicago to the Beyonce concert together. So everyone is teaming up, going to Bay.
Yeah, you just need that Beyonce sweat, like they were saying last week.
All it is.
You know, as we're talking about girl code, not everybody feels the same though, because we saw tensions flying high between Alex and Kristen after Kristen even is denied the date with BT. You know, she moves on and goes back to the bungalows, and Alex confronts her, saying that you knew that choosing BT hurt me.
Well, I thought it was interesting, and I don't remember who it was, but it was actually somebody else that brought it up first. Alex wasn't the one.
Yeah,
I did not like that.
I think it was Brittany.
Yeah,
Was
it kind of seemed like starting something a little. Like, oh yeah, how did you feel about... which she spoke her mind.
And, Alex is sitting right next to her, so it's like obviously...
Once you're started on that
I would
road,
be upset if I had shared like that frustration with somebody and they didn't give me the chance to have that conversation for myself.
Right, because then it does look more catty, so that's very
where
true.
It's like I'm trying to start something because like she's not going to say anything, but her
And it
voice
needs
deserves to be heard. And it's like you're doing this because that's...
Bob in the head, because you know that means
mean?
business.
And
I'm with Kristen though.
Yeah, I agree. I like her response.
I loved her response.
And she said, "I figured you'd be adult enough to understand it," and I do have to agree.
It's a bold comment.
Yeah, it is.
It's bold to
but
just
it's true.
throw it out there, and obviously we don't know if other stuff was
and
said, and that's just the
I'll
one that they
disagree.
clicked.
The headline, yeah.
That isn't where I got sold on Kristen's perspective because I'm like, look at Alex. She's like this bubbly, optimistic, young, really young, 23, I think. Girl, like, you can't look at her and honestly think she's going to be adult about this. Like, she's crying. She's so excited about meeting this guy. You know what I mean? Like, this is not somebody that's emotionally reacting the way an adult always would.
Almost letting
you know
her
what I mean?
emotions get the best of her.
Yes. I mean, and that happens to all of us, and different things trigger that. So like, I don't fault her for that, but it's one of those where that's not, she wasn't being adult about it in the way that Kristen is now expecting her to have been adult about it.
And then Kristen flips the tables
Yes, this
and
is
says,
where she got me.
quote, "What about reaching out to me saying I'm happy?"
For you, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
I'm happy for you.
Right.
And
Which
like,
is
know?
a good response. A good
that's
retort
where
right
Kristen
there.
got
Yeah.
me, and I was like, you know what? It does go both ways.
Yeah.
You were too busy being
Upset.
upset and like all about you to say, you know what? We're here to find love. Yeah, I'm super bummed I didn't, but heck, look, you may have. Good for you.
Absolutely. And you have to be super thick-skinned to be on this show
my
because
gosh.
giving
You
the
gotta.
guys a choice and the girls a choice, at some point you are not going to be chosen, and it hurts every time because you wonder what you're missing. But bottom line, like, you're really trying to find the best connection so you can avoid even what happened to Amari and Dom. You want to get past that initial stage so it's not just the stars in your eyes. You're actually feeling that, you know, those feelings. So,
By the way, more live chat action.
Okay.
Everyone has agreed with Alicia that it was a quality move, girl code,
yes,
texting Dom.
We have classy fans out
we
there.
like it.
Definitely.
So I think that was good. That was kind of important thing to happen at this point because it establishes some type of respect and boundaries for the other girls.
I have a question, and this is, every time I watch this show, I think as the new people come on, that would I be friends with that person? I think about that as the guys mainly, as they're coming on.
Would you be friends with the guy?
Would I be friends with the guy? And that you're watching, the guys come on and you're watching Amari and Alex, and obviously Taylor is the new one, and you got BT, and I'm thinking, would I be friends with that person? That seemed like a cool person to hang out with.
Yeah.
What do you ladies think about the girls? Are there girls that you would be friends with or not be friends with?
Both.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't get as close to some as I would to others, but
Who?
I won't name names, but I did like our ladies last week. I mean, it would be hard to say.
It's not saying that they're bad people. It's saying
Right.
that you don't think you would be friends with them.
Based on the way the show's edited and all of those things, like, yeah.
I'm saying I wouldn't be friends with Taylor.
I wouldn't be friends with Lisa. I don't think.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
Lisa,
think I would.
I was trying to think in my head. I'm like, I don't really have a bad vibe.
She's adorable in Taylor's words, but I don't think I would be that close with Alex either. I think she's got too much like bubbliness and optimism for me. Like you feel
like a Debbie Downer around her.
Again, not anything negative, but I just don't
she's
feel.
a doll. I
see what you're saying.
I wish I was more like that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think it would exhaust me because I would just feel like I was, like depressed. Like, not depressed, but like
can't be on the same level.
Yeah, I should be more optimistic, and I'm never gonna have that much energy.
Absolutely. Even Taylor, our Bachelor of this episode, he was introduced quickly. Last episode, he's 36. He's an entrepreneur. He lives in Los Angeles, California. And he mentioned the same thing about Alex, how, I don't think anybody's going to be up there on your energy level. Which I thought was kind of cute because she actually laughed at it. And I like that she's not afraid to laugh at herself. So shout out to being able to do that. But we see their date tonight, and he only has a choice between Kristen, Lisa, and Michelle. What did you guys think about the fact that he was one to get the least so far?
Going right. And Katie pointed out in our live chat saying he definitely thought a lot of girls were going right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of agree that he's a little cocky.
And that alone is exactly why I'm not surprised he didn't have more girls.
Yeah.
I will say I was surprised at the girls that did go. Like, I thought Alex would have gone because I thought they had like a nice moment with like the "you're adorable" and the optimism and all of that. I thought they laughed.
Maybe he likes her. Yeah, and he has a high energy too. I felt like he's very personable and he seems bubbly for a guy. Some ladies were even saying he's a little feminine and things like that.
I guess I should have known where Alex was so attracted to BT, and him and Taylor are
polar
physically nothing alike.
Absolutely.
So, which I've been kind of surprised. I don't know. It'll be interesting as the show kind of evolves to see if the guys come out all dressed really the same.
They're all pants.
Colorful pants.
They're
is
all
the
pants. I have to get me a pair of red, orange, yellow, blue,
tangerine colors.
I have to get me a pair of rainbow pants.
Yeah.
I got to get them.
I know, and I
it's
think
a good look, but it's not every guy's look.
No.
Like, and I'm not saying none of them pulled
Do you
it
think
off.
I could pull it off?
Yes.
Yes, but don't.
I do.
You gave him the look like, but don't.
Well, I mean, it's one of those. It's a very specific style for like a very specific type of guy, and I don't think
and
like
a very specific occasion there.
Right. You see, all these guys
Caribbean.
are obviously very different, but they're wearing basically the same outfit. It's like, did the show do that? I mean, because I totally get the bright, vibrant colors and these like islands. And
we're a tropical sort of attire.
It's aesthetically pleasing for a show. But I mean, like, I don't think Amari dresses like that. Because when you see him in the house, like, he's not wearing orange pants.
Yeah, they're chilling. They got a lot more comfy.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, they all, in the coupled house, in the villas, like, they look more themselves.
Right.
And it's more believable, like, okay, this is how they are.
Right.
Whereas,
this is not them dressed to the nines trying to impress.
Even the two guys that come on at the very end.
Absolutely.
But, so.
And even Taylor, I felt like his initial, 5-minute dates, he wasn't as open as he should have been. I remember one girl said, "What's one thing you can't live without?" And he's like, "Oxygen." I'm like, okay, what a basic answer. Like, try to open up more. You have literally 5 minutes to get to know these people. And not that you're going to find out everything, but give them a snippet, give them something to chew. And so as he chooses between Michelle and Lisa, that was great because Courtney kind of called it. She's like, he's totally going to choose those two girls.
You said it was a win-win.
Yeah, dramatic.
Oh, for us,
yeah, explain
the
that.
audience.
Win-win
Yeah,
for
explain the
audience.
win-win.
Okay, so I said it was a win-win because you either see the two girls who got into it a bit last week, competing for a guy, or you see Kristen go back with a new guy.
Right.
If she couples up and now it's like, okay, I'm here with a new guy and you're there with the girl that you chose over me. And so we haven't seen that scenario happen yet, but it's going to at some point.
Absolutely.
One of these girls is going to go back, or maybe like if we see Dom now go back where he, like the guy's not there, but the couples have seen her with another guy.
Yeah.
You know, how that happens. Like, will the guys compare him to Amari as far as like who they like to bro around with? Because I think the guys really like each
bromances
other,
are a real thing. And I thought that was great too, how these two ladies go out on a date and they're boating, and Michelle goes in for the cheek kiss, and then Lisa followed right after. I'm like, Lisa, you just love sneaking in those kisses, girl.
Do you then? Obviously, she's separated.
Yeah.
Do you like the way that she handled that? Of like, I'm gonna let you guys have an evening. I'm going to step back.
That was actually surprising for me because she went in for the kiss afterwards. I was like, she's going to fight hard. She's going to go in for this guy. And she kind of backed off when he didn't give her all the attention that she was wanting. And him and Michelle are over there making sandcastles, and Michelle's laughing up a storm, loving life. And I could tell
and she
was
asked him
thinking,
if she wanted to participate.
Yeah.
And she was like, no.
I'm good. Because they were vibing a lot then. And then Taylor even mentioned that he wanted to make out with Michelle by the end of the night, that he was so attracted to her. And everything was going great as far as that goes. She was, you know, gone for the rest of the night, Lisa. And we're seeing them still talking on the chair, just kind of canoodling and enjoying their time together. And then the next morning just threw me off guard because she's out there and she's in a better mood. And then he offers her, what, pizza? And
good date choice.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah, pizza's always a good thing.
You can't go wrong.
Food is the fastest way to a woman's heart. I know that is
and
for me.
I think a man's.
Yeah, you're so right. It goes both ways.
Food is the language of love.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's a very universal language.
So if these people would just eat more on the island, they would all be happier.
Quicker, happier, exactly.
I don't know.
So interesting. And then Lisa and him make out right there outside.
Yeah.
Shocking the hell out of me because I was not expecting that. I'm like, okay, you were loving Michelle last night. Like, what happened? She came out and I don't know, she just kissed you, so all of a sudden you're feeling it because you think things are going to go a little faster with her. That's what I was sensing, to be honest.
I really actually liked that she excused herself.
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised by his reaction where it's like, we can't even like just like have a good night. And I'm like, you know what? She knows herself well enough to know
that this isn't a good situation. Yeah.
Like, they won't actually have a good night. It will become that pettiness. It will become a little bit awkward. And she would rather let him have the moment with her, cool her buttons or whatever, you know, take her personal time, and then come back refreshed, and it paid off for her.
I think you get to...
It really did.
You get to know him better, too, because it's more one-on-one. So I like that.
Right, because it's like, you really were already doing the one-on-one with her.
Exactly.
And Lisa was in the background anyways, like, somewhat self-excused.
Right.
But no, I really like that, and I think that actually made me respect and like Lisa more,
but not enough to be friends.
No, but that's where it's like you never know because
I get what you're saying.
It's episode 3. I mean, I've barely seen the girl, and in the last episode when she got into it about the you're not real, it's like, well, I definitely didn't agree with Lisa.
Totally.
But then I see this and I'm like, okay, like everybody's got more than one side, and everybody's gonna surprise you, and a lot of times it's gonna be for the better. That's why you can't judge a book by the cover.
Right.
You gotta be careful though that if you're with her, that every time she gets upset, she's not just gonna leave. If you're in a relationship,
that's like a coping thing.
That it's not just to run.
Yeah, the running thing is the worst. Yeah, you gotta communicate.
And there's a difference between like running and like taking a minute to yourself.
Yeah, walking away from an unhealthier.
It wasn't like she was like, I'm going back to the bungalows, you guys.
Right. She didn't make a dramatic storm
to me,
out.
That's like straight up. That's running, and like that's the dramatic like.
Yeah.
It was just like, I'm going to go take some time to myself. Like, I'm in this freaking beautiful place in this beautiful house now.
Yeah.
And I'll see you tomorrow.
She went for it the next day.
It paid off.
Yeah.
She ended up with the guy.
I mean, man, that approach
they're 10
worked
years
out for
apart,
her.
and I'm not really one for age. Like, that doesn't normally get to me, but there's something about the two of them. I don't know. Like, and I think it's more Taylor than her. I'm like, dude, you're 36 and you're an entrepreneur, and I don't know.
Yeah.
There is a reason.
With the word.
There is a reason that he is still single.
Right.
Yeah.
At 36, and he just seems like a little bit of a player to me.
Yeah, I said last week he was a little Rico Suave. And to give you guys a little information on Lisa, she's a real estate agent, 26 years old. She's from New York, New York. And she mentioned tonight that she wants a guy to make her laugh all the time. And at first Taylor was like, all the time, that's a bit much.
It's a lot of pressure.
But it made her laugh.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
I liked. Yeah.
And that was cute. Like, that is actually a good way to respond to that comment, because otherwise it's like, oh, the pressure. Like, he actually made it a lighthearted situation. So the two of them might work with their, like, free flags flying. I just feel like both of them are kind of not worried about how others perceive them, and maybe that will allow them to have a longer lasting relationship. So do you guys think that anybody will have this elaborate storm out that we're kind of envisioning now between any of the episodes in this series?
I do.
You do?
100%.
Okay.
And based on what I know of everybody now, if it's a girl, it's going to be Alex.
Right. I think
It's
so
going to
too.
be Alex. Because she's just, I mean, she wears her heart on her sleeve.
She does.
And she has so much love to give. And it's just one of those things that she's not going to be able to help herself. And and I've been there too. You know, and that's why it's, I mean, so I'm 29, so, you know, a lot of these people are a handful or more like, younger.
Yeah. Right.
You know, like, I'm older, I've been through a little bit more than they have when it comes to love. And so I look at that and I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember when I was like that. And I remember when I was like dumb. And I remember, you know.
Right.
I wish I could tell you it's better because I'm still single. So.
Oh my gosh, I'm
You're
26
still young.
myself, and I
totally agree.
Yeah.
But that's like when I'm watching this, I'm like, Alex, I'm like, he's 26.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, these guys are like baby, like all of them, not just the guys, like they're like they're babies, like they're so. They have their lives together and they're like paranoid that they're not gonna have love. Like that's like the only missing piece. I'm like, you haven't even lived your life yet. You're 26 years old.
Right.
You're 24. Like Brittany, you're 23. Like Alex, I'm like, you guys, like
everybody
you've got a
wants
good
to
decade
find
where you need to start worrying about
the
love.
carriage of love, you know,
But
young.
I mean, because I'd be lying if I didn't say the same. Like, I want the same thing they want. Like, I want to find that person and settle down and, you know, have the partner in crime and that companion to like go do my adventures with and travel when I travel and all of that, you know. So that, I mean, that's, I think as humans we're wired that way. That's why we love watching these kinds of shows and and seeing
we can
people how to work
empathize.
out. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we talked about this, and I'll ask you the quick question because we talked about this the first episode when Josh was here, and I asked the question, would you go on a show like this?
Oh, let's hear
What is your answer?
No way.
I know. I don't think I
Into
could emotionally handle it. These girls are strong for being able to do it. But this show's a little bit better because they have a choice, I will say.
I could do The Bachelorette.
Yeah.
Really?
You like having all
Isn't
the guys
that more
who are...
emotion and more seriousness?
But then it's all the guys
but I
going
have
after
control.
you. Yeah.
Well, the girls have control in this. Obviously,
No.
we saw what Dom did.
choose.
Yeah, but obviously we saw what Dom did of
Yeah,
like,
but
all right,
that's not
we're
the
over,
kind of control
and
I
then
want.
Yeah.
That it's over and she's going back alone to the bungalows. You say
No,
it's
she's
over.
going back.
5 guys want
No,
to meet,
but
and you
she's
still
going
got
back.
15.
No,
Yeah.
but she's going back, and she has the possibility for
Finding somebody new. Yeah, she
Somebody
said
do the
she's
math
gonna
in
put
my
on
head.
her red
One
lipstick.
guy
9 more
that
guys.
has to pick her after picking someone
8 more
else. She's like 3 days away from like having a boyfriend.
Yeah.
At
No.
like best case scenario.
Absolutely.
So I'm just saying. I'm not saying it would be easy. But I'm saying if I was ever gonna do a show like that,
right.
like one of these dating shows and having your life filmed, like it would be. I think I could. The Bachelorette would be like best case
You
scenario.
realize
for
you
me.
have to go on The Bachelor to get to The Bachelor.
Yes, that's why
right?
I'm not. That's why I would never be able to be the Bachelorette.
Yeah, a little tidbit of information that makes it all the difference. So speaking of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, there is a recent review by the Washington Post that compares those shows with Coupled. So Michael, will you read it to us?
We've talked, a lot about it, and that's obviously the biggest comparison.
Of course.
And this article in the Washington Post kind of gave some positives and negatives to both. It said they really appreciated Coupled because of the racial dynamics. So obviously we have
And it
Dom
lasts,
in there.
It lasts all
And
season.
there's no, it's always been something that has been missing with
Right.
The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. There's
Absolutely.
been really no main people of color in there. So that is good that now
you need some
have that.
variation. You need some choices.
Yeah, so
People
that's
like
great.
different things.
So they praised that. However, in Coupled, they weren't as high of a fan of the social media and the texting aspect and how the girls got all giggity when like, oh, this person texted me. And this
Which is
person
kind of
texted
funny
this,
because that's
and-
like expected. I'm like, put social media and girls there and giggity it is.
But they don't have to
'cause-
show it. Like,
Yeah.
like obviously that kind of stuff is happening, I'm sure, on
Right.
The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, you know, but they're not showing the dynamic the way that they are in
I mean, I
Coupled.
appreciate some of the social media though, because it's just a different. It separates it.
Well, I mean,
makes
it's a
it a little
totally different
but-
show, but it worked for them.
Yeah.
House of Cards. They totally did that.
Oh,
or do
yeah.
that. They haven't, but you know what I mean? Like,
A+ show
it's
right there.
It's not a foreign or failed.
And it's
idea.
2016.
Absolutely.
You
Right?
know, that's just the world that we live in. So yeah, they kind of had some positives and negatives about Coupled, and you know, both are good shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
There's
you don't have to
room
be
for
you
both.
don't have to be Team Coupled or Team Bachelor. You can
No.
be both, just like you
'Cause
can be
one's
both
on Monday
Team
nights
Dom
and
and Team
one's on
Amari.
Tuesday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you don't always gotta choose.
There's no
And then
It's not
competition.
always a
Wednesday night, you go on an
binary.
actual date,
Boom.
right?
Yeah.
I gotta get me one of those tomorrow.
So of course, then we
We'll put
see.
that on the live chat.
Of course.
Oh no!
Oh geez. Then we see that Alex wants to hide herself away in her room before the new two guys show up next week, which I thought is kind of cool. Finally, they're gonna have two
hide herself
guys.
away in her room with like
Yeah.
the blinds, like
Yeah,
the
like
blinds,
still
peeking through the
peeking.
blinds.
She's still intrigued and she wants to know who, which I thought is kind of good for her. If you're gonna get so excited and get your heart all wrapped up in it before it even starts,
Yeah.
then
It's
you
a
might
true
just
first
like
impression.
ruin your first impression, or who knows what's going to happen. So the fact that they're going to have two at once, they also brought up an interesting question of what happens if you like them both. How do you go about that? And I'm sure you
Right.
can
Yeah.
go. They're probably going to do
How
one
they're
at a
gonna
time.
have it with walk left or walk right?
Yeah, they should probably
know?
do one at a time, and then
I
you
don't
just
think
go
so.
on both dates.
You don't think
I
they
bet
will?
I bet they're doing both at the same time.
Interesting. So you have to choose
And
I
so
between
you
the
have
two.
to choose. Yeah. Well,
Oh, that
there'll
would
be
make it a
like
little
3 ways that
crazier.
you can go. You can go none, or you can go the first guy or the second guy.
Ooh.
I don't like that.
I like
dig
it.
it.
I do.
Yeah.
I like it.
But I mean, like as a contestant.
Yeah, then you
Like,
have
I
you're
don't like
feeling
that.
a little
Well, because
Well, it's a true
conundrum of
it's a
choosing
true first
between.
impression. It
I guess.
you know if you're not feeling it,
Yeah,
But,
then
like,
you
how
have
do
to
If you
then-
don't
feel-
like big orange pants, then you're not.
you're not out
that's
of luck,
right.
as they
You
say.
can straight just choose based on pants color.
Yeah, I would
think
definitely
I
not
would. See,
go
this
for
is
the
why I can
orange
never go on a
pants.
show like that, because I would get to that point where I'd be like, oh no, I'm like the pant. I would be choosing off of pants or something like that.
Yeah, more rough and rugged is
Yeah.
like, I don't know, the orange
And-
pants thing.
yeah.
I'm like, even on a vacation, you can leave the orange pants at home,
Right.
in my opinion. But
Not a fan of the orange pants. Huh?
Store.
Hashtag
I'm
no
specifically
store.
going to go buy a pair of orange pants
Yeah, and wear them next week. No!
You can, because you
And
know
to-
we don't film.
I am going to do the whole next show standing.
There
so
we
you
are. He's
can-
gonna do a
I
little
got black
bubble, a
pants
little
on. I have,
turn
like-
side to side.
I have like no colored pants on tonight too, and I thought about that
It's a good look.
as I was coming
This is
here.
a great
I was
look.
like, really?
Yeah.
This is good right here.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Guys, what do you think? Live chat. We just plain skinny black jeans.
It's a charcoal V-neck with
Yeah.
some rustic black jeans. How do you ladies feel about that?
And
Chime
he's
in
got
on that
Micro
one.
Clouse.
Oh yeah. and
He's
of course,
also available tomorrow night for a date.
J1s.
My
Gotta go
gosh,
for
you're
the J1s.
flexible.
He's trying to show off his shoe size, ladies. Careful.
13s.
I see what you did there.
Oh
you single?
goodness.
I am single.
I'm like trying to pick you out.
Uh-oh, okay.
And, like, I don't even, like, you're
We've
being
got
taken.
some contestants right here to the left. I'm
That's
very
right.
excited.
What about
you're
you?
single. What do we
I'm
got
not.
here?
I'm coupled up already.
Ah.
Oh,
Oh.
it's a good thing. Give me a little celebration. Come on.
No, for all the fans and all the people that
That's
want
right.
to date you that can no longer have a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Well, that was wonderful. Thank you guys for the laugh. I really needed that.
Man, this is great. We're really just
I
getting
know,
this
right?
going.
We are
Now she has-
killing
Katie D
this.
says looking good. Thank you, Katie.
All right, Katie. Get it, girl. So let's move on to some news and gossip. Last but of course not least.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So as we heard last week, Terrence J isn't afraid to give the girls a little advice. He shared an Instagram snap spending some quality time with Amari, Dominique, and Alicia before they made their decision. Everything looked good there, and that was before the fate was decided kind of this episode. But it's still very cool to see a little bit of behind the scenes in the tropical paradise that they were living in for that time. My goodness, I could get used to it there.
Oh man, right?
And
5 weeks
secondly-
is still 5 weeks. You
Yeah. Of course, I know. It would probably speed by. And then we have Ashley taking to Instagram with a repost from the Coupled page writing, check out the size of that bathtub. She was having a blast at the villa, but will she stay, they question. So check it out. My goodness, that bathtub looks like a full jacuzzi.
Yeah.
Amazing enjoyment.
Look, there's a waterfall. You can see right by her left leg there. That is a waterfall.
Yeah, it looks like you can probably fit even like a few people in there. That
Party
would just
time.
be like a blast. Yeah, they're probably just gonna
it
do
is
that
a
one
room
episode.
for two, so I think it's also a bath for two.
I would imagine.
Exactly.
Enough time to move around. But the other thing, obviously, predictions.
Yeah.
I think we'll be interested to see what happens with BT and Ashley, because there seemed to be a little bit of
trouble in paradise as well
trouble
for
in
them.
paradise.
I
Yeah.
think it's a fake out. I really think it's a fake out.
Huge fake out?
I think it's a huge fake out.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
They can't have two couples like
Hating each other.
break up
Yeah.
like 2 weeks in a row. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Interesting.
I think he's referencing something totally different. Like he doesn't want to go on the excursion because
and
like
it's not
he
that
has
big of a
allergies,
deal.
or like he's some food, or like, you know what I mean, or like it's something with the guys. Like I don't think it's
Right,
them. But I mean, I could be wrong. It's happened once before.
So who do you think is going to be the main contenders in next week's episode? If you could just guess.
Well, I mean, you first.
Who do I see walking?
Any returns
Getting
or
one of
any
the
new
guys.
I see Alex walking right
Okay.
on one of the guys.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
What about
I don't know. I mean,
Kristen,
we're trying to
you
think.
think she's
There's
gonna
certain
find
people
anybody?
that we really haven't seen
think
that's what
too
I'm saying.
much
Any
of.
newbies might be coming along this next week.
I think Brittany.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think Brittany. I mean, we've seen her a little bit before, but I'm getting a good Brittany vibe, and I really want to see more of Talia. I really liked the way she handled her situation because she was super into Amari, and that didn't turn into a blowout fight of any kind.
No, she
no
just kept it moving. Yeah, you gotta
You know what
love
I mean?
knowing that another man is gonna arrive
Yeah.
via helicopter or boat anytime.
Well, and
you
every
know?
girl there is hoping for the same thing, and it's
Yeah.
like there's one guy and 8 of us.
We haven't seen a
Odds
lot
are
from
more
TT
than 2
either.
of us are gonna
No.
be in.
Haven't seen a lot from her, so hopefully
No.
maybe we'll.
Yeah.
Our Disney
Explore a little
princess
more.
needs a prince. That's what we need to
But-
find. Ooh,
I'm excited. The way that this episode just kind of played out, kind of throwing some new things. Of obviously the guy is gone if it doesn't work out.
I like that.
And the
I
fact
really
that we
like
have
that.
2 people coming next week. I like it. It's changing it up.
yeah,
Yes.
I almost thought that they were gonna let Amari go back and have the decision, or let Alicia decide if she was still interested in Amari. I thought that might have happened.
I think if she said, "Yo, T, I want my turn,"
Is that how she would have said it?
Yo, T.
No.
my
I
goodness.
don't think it is. She's classier than that.
Yeah, we love you, Alicia.
But
I don't think
think she
I don't
would've-
think there was a great connection. She mentioned last week that
Right.
during the dinner it was clear that it was Dom and
Yeah.
Amari.
But I think that would be
could've been
the
good
only
friends,
situation. I mean, and I don't know. The show's obviously new, but we've seen in The Bachelor, The Bachelorette.
Yeah, you
that
could
the
bring him
rules
back
kind of
on.
change. You know what I mean? Like, and the show's evolved as the because as dramatic and as kind of forced as some of the situations are when you're filming on a show, they still are trying to let you, especially
Yeah.
in that case when there's only one, like find the connection. So I think
Nothing
if,
is off limits.
yeah, so I think that if one of the girls really pushed and was like, hey, I know they didn't work out, but like that's my guy, like maybe BT. If Ashley and him break up, maybe Alex says, hey, he didn't even pick me, but
I want a
like
shot.
him enough
Yeah.
that I want to ask if he'd be willing to try with me.
Yeah, maybe there is
Maybe
a
they
little
say,
exception
okay.
to the rule. So, of course, stay tuned next week, guys,
BT
to see the
tweeted
double
out,
dates.
by the way, tonight, promos for next week. I drink a lot sometimes. I also have an evil twin. I hate
See?
him.
Oh, what
Total
is
fake
that?
out.
Oh.
Total fake out, I think.
Okay, you may be right
I
with
think
that.
he's saying I'm done, meaning I'm done drinking.
Yeah. Oh boy. So we're gonna have to find
We'll
out
see.
next week. Of course, thank you guys so much for watching. You can catch us same place, same time next Tuesday at 8 p.m. And if you missed any of our episodes so far, you can catch us on AfterBuzzTV.com, YouTube or iTunes. Leave us a 5-star rating or a thumbs up if you like what you see. Once again, I'm Samantha Benitz. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Samantha_Benitz. And where can they find you guys on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at TheOnlyMC, on Twitter at Clouse TV. Thank you to everyone who reached out on our live chat. We had a lot of good discussions
Yes,
going on.
love having you guys. Please come back
Great
next
reaching
week.
out. Absolutely. Recruit your friends.
And of course, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Cohen, Couhen. Thank
See you guys next
There we
time.
go. Adios.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.